Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. I hope I'm really clear. It's been a long time without live streaming, so I'm just bringing back everything to normal. But of course, we're gonna be speaking lots of Arsenal content, lots of Arsenal stuff. We are looking at those two players from Everton. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. We're going to be diving a little bit deeper in both of them. Our transfer pursuit for those two. What exactly does it mean? Do you think? I've seen already a couple of people in the comments telling me, because we don't need Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we need Darwin Nunez. I'll try to speak about Dominic Calvert-Lewin in light and comparison with the other players, but also we will speak about Mikel Arteta being awarded Manager of the Month award for March. Really done very well, Mikel Arteta. Ever since losing those 3 games in a row. At the beginning of the season, I honestly think he's actually done better as a manager and probably as a squad. We'll talk about William Saliba again, back in the news. This lad is always talking to the media. Look, I think he'll be a very good manager because he doesn't shy away from the press. So we'll talk about William Saliba. He's come out and made his statement again after we talked about him yesterday in that video of Let's Talk. He has actually come out and said, look, I don't expect to come to Arsenal and sit on the bench. I do not expect that. So we will run through that as well, and a couple of other Arsenal news around, especially in terms of transfers. Smash a like on the video. Thanks everybody for doing that. Do subscribe to the channel as well. It massively helps me. It really massively helps the channel. So I hope you lads will be very merciful to give me that like button. Right, let's start off with William Saliba. Now, yesterday, Saliba did produce say a couple of statements, and they've been trending right on Twitter and everywhere. Obviously, Arsenal. My Twitter feed is full of Arsenal, so it's always trending. It's always trending Arsenal. Whenever anything Arsenal breaks out, it's always Arsenal. But let me get to the quotes of William Saliba and what he said. All right, because this is as quoted by Chris Whitley, and this is what he said. Saliba, they Arsenal are often in contact with my agent, and they send me messages. They watch my games. They tell me to continue like this. The coach, Mikel Arteta, has made his choices. That is life. I left on loan, played more matches, and thanks to my performances, I became an international. That was William Saliba speaking after his debut call up for France. He also says that I'm sure I can't be. He says I'm sure I can't just be on the bench at Arsenal and be happy. I want to play as a starter. Afterwards, if I enter into the rotation as a substitute, it's not like staying with the under-23s or never being in the squad at all. William Saliba. Those are his comments there on the lack of game time and his expectation from Arsenal. Now, of course, we've spoken about him a little bit in detail in that video of where I said I think he will definitely leave Arsenal. I think at some point in time he will go. Look, I could be wrong, but that is my opinion, the way I look at things. And he's made it very clear here in this statement that, because he says, I'm very sure I just can't be at Arsenal and be happy. I want, at Arsenal on the bench and be happy. I want to play as a starter. Afterwards, if I enter into the rotation role as a substitute, it's not like being under the 23s or not being in the squad at all. Right. So I think, again, my opinion is, here is right. Arsenal need more games. Arsenal need lots and lots of games to accommodate players like William Saliba. We need very many games. At least Europa League must be there. at least Champions League must be there, because if you're going to rotate the squad, if you're going to if it's all about squad rotation, you need the games. And Premier League, I think in the Premier League, we know the defense. We know the four. Unless we sign in a right back, which I don't think is going to happen. Unless Kiantiani goes to Real Madrid, like it's been the rumors are saying, if rumors are to be believed, which I think is also not going to happen very soon. I'm still very, very positive that at some point in time, William Saliba will be forced to leave Arsenal, just because he's not going to get that spot as a starter. And of course, for me, lads, look, he signed for Arsenal. He was 18. He was one of the youngest, centre backs in the world that had caught, the eye of international football, with Wesley Fofana and the likes of Araujo. And we've seen links between Arsenal and Ronald Araujo at Barca. Now, Barcelona are really fighting so hard to give Ronald Araujo a new contract. However, do not forget, this is the same Barcelona side that is in talks with Rudiger. This is the same Barcelona side that has agreed a deal with Andreas Christensen. What that means is that they could lose Omutiti, they could lose Gerard Piqué, because look, I don't think Piqué is gonna work. But at some point in time, it will be like, look, I'm hanging up my boots. It's time for me to to get rid of myself from football, which I think is would be very, very good if he did it before the World Cup, because I don't want him in that Spain defense. It's very, very good. It's very, very pivotal when it comes to how we play as a nation, as Spain. But it just worries me if we play if we play Brazil, if we play Argentina, Uruguay, those nations that are become, that are rearranged and regrouped very well, is scary. But anyway, away from that. So if Arsenal have contact, because it's true, the Arsenal have contacted Ronald Araujo, despite the fact that Barcelona are fighting to give him a new contract. Arsenal have contacted him, and they have promised him 6 million per season, 6 million per year in terms of salary. Of course, we are in that battle with Manchester United. Very, very top class centre back, especially if you look at what Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are trying to do. We're trying to find as many ball-playing centre backs as we can. So, if rumors are to be believed, and Arsenal have looked at Araujo, and they have actually decided that we could make a move for Araujo, whether be it because it could be the agent of the player, spreading these rumors. But like I said, if rumors are to be believed, then it means William Saliba's future at Arsenal is also in jeopardy, because we've got to agree and we've got to speak about it live. Saliba is a good player, but is he going to go away from Saint Etienne as a starter, get to Nice as a starter, goes out on loan as a starter to Olympique Marseille? He's been on 3 different loan spells, and he's been a starter, and he's been developing very, very well. And he says it there himself that, look, I deserve what I've got. I don't know whether this is professional. I have my own issues with William Saliba and the professionalism. I have my own issues. Saliba, Torreira, at times it just seems so disrespectful, because I've seen players act a little bit more professional. But anyway, William Saliba, lads, what do you think? Do you think should we bring him back and then try to play him in a back three? It's scary, but one of the things we can do is we can play him on the right hand side of the defense. It can be actually a back four. If you've seen if you've seen how Barcelona played against Real Madrid, Piqué played Araujo as a right back. It was quite interesting. He played Araujo as a right back. Then he played Gerard Piqué at centre back, and then he also played Eric Garcia and Jordi Alba in the back four. But in that system, it means your left back is predominantly part of the midfield. So it's literally a back four, but in most cases, it turns into a back three. It's very, very advantageous if you have Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White playing in a back three, because Saliba has got the ball playing abilities. Ben White is also adventurous and he's got the ball playing abilities. So that means if you play them, if you play the three of them, you form your back three, and Kiantieni gets more license. After all, that right hand side of the pitch has not been giving us lots of chances, especially at right back. Starting with Hector Bellerin, then Cedric Suarez, then Tomiyasu. It just seems like the way Mikel Arteta is using the right hand side of the pitch, he does it. Our right backs don't commit as Kiantieni. Because if you look at Kiantieni, he commits, he goes up front, he brings in the crosses, and he does all that work. On the right, it is Saka. And actually, if you look at it, our right wingers, our right backs play as not as midfielders, but they literally never cross the center line, and they just allow Saka that security to be high up the pitch as possible. If you look at our heat maps, I cannot really show you here, but I always tell you, watch a man called James Alcott. He's so good at analyzing these heat maps and average positions. Saka plays so high, and our left wingers, whether it's Martinelli or Emile Smith-Rowe, depending on who's played there, they're kind of narrow and a little bit deep, while Saka is so high. And I think what causes that is of course, Martinelli has to be narrow to allow space for Kiantieni to stretch the pitch. Then that means our right backs are always deep, because Saka is always high up the pitch, right? So maybe Saliba could come in there, play that back three, where it gives Kiantieni more license to be part of the midfield and give us that kind of Jordi Alba role, what Jordi Alba gives to Barcelona. I would really, really be appreciative there. But anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you think Saliba can be playing in a back three? And can he do well? That means we would have to sacrifice Tomiyasu. So should we sacrifice Tommy and then go with William Saliba? It's a huge question. I need your thoughts there. But moving on to the other stories, lads, today is the double swoop for Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Now, of course, we've been linked with Richarlison, and we've been linked with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as well. A couple of stories have come out indicating that Arsenal would love to sign one of the players, if not, and of course, if they can, get both players. Richarlison is a player that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta admire. He's got that kind of style, like Rafinha. And Fabrizio Romano has said Arsenal will be out in the market to look for a player who's got the characteristics of Rafinha. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously we know we need a striker. We need a marquee signing up front, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is one of those that I think it's a name that many Arsenal fans have now come into. That many Arsenal fans have now come into agreement that he's going to be looked at in the summer, right? Of course, there's so many other names on that forward line list, but at least I can confirm that Arsenal will get a centre forward, and then we'll try to get someone who I think kind of a winger, but brings in the goals. I've always talked about players like Karim Adeyemi, and today, according to El Nacional, they've said Dortmund have been turned off by Salzburg's 45 million euro demands for Karim Adeyemi. So Real Madrid and Arsenal have entered the race for the winger. Look, I'm not talking about Karim Adeyemi today, but look, that is a story there as well. But so let's talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Let's start off with Richarlison. there's so many players that I would love Arsenal to sign. Honestly, there's so many players that I think Arsenal should sign. And based on the fact that Arteta is going to be going out there to get two forwards that are not the same, that is the idea. He doesn't want to get two forwards that are similar. He wants to get two players that are completely different. I would suggest Nkuku. I would suggest Rafinha. I would suggest Anthony. I would suggest Richarlison. Look, there's so many players that you would suggest based on the picture of who Rafinha and Richarlison are. But I think Richarlison has so many advantages as a player if we brought him in. One, I think he's one of those wingers that can guarantee you double figures in terms of goals, in terms of numbers per campaign. He can't do that. And I think he can do that consistently. I think that is the beauty with him. He can really do it consistently. We've seen it with Everton when Dominic Calvert-Lewin got injured this season. They played Solomon Rondon, and I don't get it, honestly. I don't get it why Rafa Benitez decided to play Solomon Rondon. Obviously, maybe because of the system and things like that. But Rondon was a disgrace to Everton. But during that time when they lacked Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they needed someone. They needed someone to turn to. They needed a player to to help them with getting the goals, with getting in the goals. And I think Richarlison has done it really well, and he really does it very well. In modern football, if you look at what Mikel Arteta is trying to do, you need to have goals from different areas of the pitch. You need to have goals from your wingers, goals from your midfielders, and then your strikers as well. Because if you look at how many goals Lacazette has scored as our main centre forward this season, around 3 or 4, and then Saka 9, Martinelli 5, and Emile Smith-Rowe 9 as well, 10 in all competition. So it shows you that it just highlights what Mikel wants. He wants another. He wants to create that kind of forward line, very similar to Liverpool, Salah, Mane, maybe Jota or Firmino. Give me the goals, right? You're 3 up top. You must give us the goals, and for me, that is the way to go. So Richarlison played in the Premier League. I think that is one thing I would definitely 100% take all day. He's played in the Premier League, so he's Premier League proven. I think his injury record is okay, right? His injury record is okay. I don't think he's injury prone, unless players change and careers change. But I don't think he's injury prone. Right? I really don't think he's injury prone, and I hope it never becomes. So if I'm going to take one of the two, Richarlison or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Look, I've said Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the striker we should be going for. Look, in the World Cup qualifiers, Richarlison played 8 games for Brazil and scored 6 goals. Right? 8 games, 6 goals. If you look at Everton this season, he's played 20 games for them, 3 assists and 4 goals. That means he's engaged himself in 7 goals this campaign. Last season for Everton, it was 10 goal involvements, 7 goals and 3 assists. The season before that, 13 goals. The season before that, 13 goals. That is 2019-2020, and then 2018-2019, 13 goals as well. So, look, I think the previous 2 seasons, actually, he has not hit his prime. But we've seen him. At Brazil, because at Brazil, this is a Brazilian side that is really talented. There is a lot of there's a lot of competition at Brazil, especially where he plays. You have Richarlison there, you have Rafinha there, you have Martinelli there, you have Anthony there. There's so many players. Gabriel Jesus is there as well. So You need to be good. And the fact that he's been winning, that spot, you know, in that Brazilian, in that Brazil side, despite the fact that you have untouchables like Neymar, and the fact that you also have players in form like Gabriel Barbosa, it speaks volumes. He's good. But I think the trait that Mikel Arteta loves about Richarlison is his ability to score many goals. That is the trait that Mikel Arteta is looking for. His ability to score many goals as a winger. And I think it's a trait that I've always spoken about, with Arsenal, that we need more goals from other areas of the pitch. This season we've tried because our centre forwards, Aubameyang scored 4 before he left, right? Lacazette 3 from Lacazette. So and it shows you that Saka, Martinelli, and the Emile Smith Rowe combined, in the Premier League, they have 23 goals, among them or between them, among them, I think, right? So can we do that? Right, I talked about Karim Adeyemi last summer, and also in January. He's a player I love. He's a player that can give us the numbers very, very young. I think he will go to Dortmund. In the end, Dortmund. I don't think they should be scared of the 45 million euros. They'll get the player. But Richarlison, guys, want to watch out for. His numbers are really, really good. Very, very good. 2018-2019, 13 goals. 2019-2020, 13 goals. He's just 24 years of age. I think he's at his prime. He's in his prime. He's at his peak. Get him probably around 40 or 45 million euros. If Everton get relegated, it could be even cheaper than that. If we get him, of course, if we get him, it means either Martinelli or Smith Rowe, or Saka drops. For me, I think Saka is undroppable at the moment, especially the fact that Saka has started adding goals to his game. That was my only worry, that players like Gabriel Martinelli have goals to their game. So if you're Saka and you're such a quality player and then you don't have goals to your game, it's scary for you. But the fact that he started getting goals and adding goals to his game, he's now one of Arsenal's best performers when it comes to scoring goals. It's even better. It's even better. Bukayo Saka is with no doubt, our best performer at Arsenal, without doubt. He's our best performer at Arsenal. So I'd love to hear from you, Richarlison. Do you think maybe he is a step forward? Is he a player that brings in something that Arsenal do not have? On the right wing, we have Saka. This season has involved himself already in 14 goals, 9 goals and 5 assists. So Richarlison, on the other end, if you brought him in, I think he can replicate this, and I think that is what Liverpool have done. Salah, 20 goals. Mane on the other side, 12, and down through the middle, 13 from Firmino or from Jota, or 15, right? So you need to have the numbers replicated. What is done on the right-hand side of the pitch should be done down through the middle, and should also be done on the left in terms of getting in those numbers. And I think that is why Richarlison would be key to Mikel Arteta's system. The other is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a player that I've got mixed feelings. But if you remember my video of Arsenal's next striker, I said, in my opinion, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin would be the perfect player and striker for Arsenal. These are my reasons. One, I think, apart from this season, DCL has been doing well. I mean, let's be honest. Apart from this season, where he's been disturbed by injuries, let's look at the previous seasons. This season, 10 games only, 3 goals and 1 assist. That means XG is high. But last season, 16 goals in 33 appearances. Last season before that, the season before that, 13 goals in 36 appearances. And then the season before that, 6 goals in 35 appearances. He's only 25 years of age, so that means he's also got some 6 years more and to add to his career. Honestly, I think he's been unfortunate. I don't know whether many people will agree with me on this one, but I think he's been very, very unfortunate. And the reason that's why I think DCL has been very unfortunate is he picks up this injury at a time where you think he was heading to his peak. He was heading for his peak. I think that is where, and that is how unlucky you can become. You become one of the you become one of the talking points in England, in the Premier League. You've started challenging Harry Kane to that spot, on England, on the national team, and everybody thinks if Harry Kane doesn't make it, this year is there, and they just pick up a long-term injury. It's bad. But there are two things here. There are two things here. Either Arsenal can overlook this season, right? Because in the previous seasons, in the previous 4 seasons, he's averaged at least 32 games per campaign. That is 32 out of 38. He's reliable. He's not injury prone, unless this is gonna be the start of it. So we can overlook this season and then look at the previous seasons where he's done well, and we can go, let's sign him. This season he's been unfortunate. I think Everton are in a very, very difficult position, and they find themselves in even a harder place. If they get relegated, it will be even worse, because Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the moment, maybe 50 to 60 million, justifiable. That is justifiable. But the moment they are relegated, I think he could work for 20. I think he could work for 25. Don't get me wrong. I think if they get relegated, they will try to make their players stay, but they also have financial problems. Like I reported yesterday, they're having financial issues. So cashing in on some players will be a very, very welcome idea. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, can he then fit into this Arsenal side? Absolutely. I think what Mikel Arteta wants, and the reason that's why he's looking for the likes of Richarlison and Gakpo, he wants a striker who not only supports himself to score goals and is supported by the system, but he wants a striker who is part of the system in both defending and also creating for the team. Alexander Lacazette has done it very, very well. At times people think I'm a liar, but let me read to you the statistics of Alexander Lacazette this campaign. Lacazette this campaign, 4 goals in 23 games, 4 goals only. And this is a player, lads, that has averaged 11 goals per campaign. 11 goals per campaign in the previous seasons, in the previous 4 seasons. But this season, he's got more playing time. He's got more authority. He's playing in a team that is actually doing well. And guess what? He's only netted 4 times. And how many of those are penalties? I think 2 of them are penalties. Or 1. Because he scored a penalty, I think, against Leeds. Has he scored around 2 penalties this season? I think around 2 penalties this season, right? But this is what is interesting. 7 assists. That is the role, and that is how important Alexander Lacazette is. That is it. Saka has got more goals than Laka, and then Martinelli has got more goals than Laka. Martinelli playing less games. Smith Rowe has got more goals than Laka as well, right? And I think Odegaard as well. I think Odegaard has also scored more goals than Laka, let's say, in the Premier League. Yeah. Odegaard has also scored 5 goals. 5 goals. So Odegaard, Saka, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli have all scored more goals than Alexander Lacazette. And don't get me wrong, it is down to the role that he plays, but also to his weakness as a striker. But this is what is interesting, lads. This is what is interesting. Martin Odegaard only has 3 assists in 26 games, right? Alexander Lacazette has 7 assists in 23 games. Odegaard is a playmaker. Lacazette is a striker. It brings out the point. Mikel is, if you look at the average positions and heat map of Lacazette, they're nowhere near the standards of a striker. If you look at his average position and then look at that of Dusan Vlahovic, and then you look at that of Victor Osimhen or DCL or Robert Lewandowski, you might think this lad is the number 10. And that is what he adds to this Arsenal side. He's gone, I'm going to be the guy that does the donkey work, and you lads will do the finishing, you'll do the icing on the cake. So he's the brown part of the cake, and the pink, the white, the red is Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli. And with all due respect, I think we will struggle to replace Alexander Lacazette. I can't believe those words are coming from my mouth because I've always wanted him out. But I think we will struggle to replace him, especially given the fact that role he plays is very, very selfless. He's one of the very unselfish strikers that I know in the Premier League. He lets other players have it. He lets other players enjoy. He's not as selfish as a striker should be. It's at one point in time, it's bad. At one point in time, it's good. 7 assists, more than any other player. Assisted more than any other player at Arsenal in the Premier League. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, can he do that? I think with assists, he's been picking up a few, right? He's been picking up a few because if we look at this season, 1 assist. Last season, no assist in 33 games for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The season before that, 1. I think he recorded the highest number of assists in 2017-2018 campaign, 6. So he plays well with his back facing the goal, but in terms of assisting, he's not that good. Not really that good. But anyway, I need your thoughts there about Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. What do you think? And what are your opinions there? How are you doing, Glenn, my man? Hope you're doing well, Glenn. It's been a very, very long time. It's been a very, very long time. I don't want those guys in our team. Unless I'm wrong, I honestly think Richarlison would be an upgrade. I honestly think DCL would be an upgrade. Yeah. And I think it's the excitement of Darwin Núñez, right? It's the excitement of Darwin Núñez. Better is Richarlison than Dominic Calvert-Lewin, says Savio. And then Chan says DCL is injury prone, don't want him. And that is where we don't agree. That is where I do not agree with you, lads. In the previous 4 campaigns, he's played 30 games and above. He's not injury prone. He's not injury prone. Maybe what you need to say is that you followed him last campaign, and then this campaign he's injured, but he's not injury prone. He's not. He's played 30 games per campaign from 2017-2018 to 2020-2021. So he's not injury prone. It's a lie. It's a lie. He's not injury prone. Okay. Muller says Richarlison is better than Núñez in all aspects of EPL. I think Darwin Núñez is more of a number 9. And if you think of a fox in the box, I think Núñez would be better. Darwin Núñez would be better in terms of having a fox in the box. But if you think about the other aspects of the game, I think Richarlison would be better. But a fox in the box, tap-ins, putting defenders in pressure in that penalty area, those runs around the penalty area. I think Darwin Nunez is a little bit better. Yeah, I think. I just feel is a little bit better. And I think you can have both of them in the same team. So it doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt. Lastly, lads, the Sport Witness have reported that Arsenal have entered a bidding war for Brazilian playmaker Filipe Coutinho, who has not yet ruled out a move to the Emirates Stadium. Now, we wanted Filipe Coutinho in January. Arteta had agreed to the move. However, the board did not agree. The board didn't feel he was that good to be playing for Arsenal then. And then he's gone to Aston Villa and he's done very, very well. I have mixed reactions about Coutinho, but the wages and the age are constant. Those are the two reasons. That's why I think. Look, there's so many players out there that Arsenal can't go for. In my opinion, I don't see why Bayern should be signing Ryan Gravenberch from Ajax, and I will do a video about Ryan Gravenberch. Don't worry, I'm gonna do a video about Ryan Gravenberch at least before he joins Bayern, and why I think he would suit Arsenal very, very well. I've talked about Ruben Neves and Tielemans and whoever it is, but Ryan Gravenberch, he's a beast. I think Paul Pogba stands aside. If Gravenberch goes into a club like Bayern or Dortmund, actually I would have preferred for Dortmund to get Ryan Gravenberch, develop him into a classy player, but I think he's going to go to Bayern. 27 million, 37. I think that is no money for Bayern. They'll pay it. But listen, instead of going for Filipe Coutinho, pay high wages, pay around 40 million for him, or 30, even if he's 25, why don't we try to get players like Ryan Gravenberch? Because that lad, if you've watched Ajax, you know what I'm talking about. That boy is magnificent. But look, I think Edu loves Coutinho. Mikel also loves Coutinho. I feel that. Should we bring him at the Emirates? In my opinion, no. Honestly, no. He can play very well in that midfield. Alongside Thomas Partey, he would be exciting to watch. Look, he played in that role when we played against them. This season in the second leg this season, we absolutely dismantled their midfield. We were unplayable. We were unbelievable. But Filipe Coutinho, would I really want to take him on Arsenal? I would, but the price, the age, the injury-prone record. Look, I don't know how Aston Villa doing it because it's not picking up, injuries. But for me, I'll prefer Arsenal to stay away from Filipe Coutinho. That would be my advice. Stay away from Filipe Coutinho as much as we can. I don't know what you people think, but as much as we can. Okay, glad to have you back, my friend. Thank you so much. Kohanda Frank says, but we are going to put Martinelli. I think you're asking where are we going to put Martinelli. I think huge squads always have huge players and huge options. That is not something we should be worried about. Look, there is City have Grealish, they have Mahrez, they have Sterling, they have Gabriel Jesus, they have Phil Foden. Liverpool just signed Ruben Dias. They have Jota, they have Salah, they have Mane, they have Firmino, they have they have Harvey Elliott, and Origi. So you need the options, and they're trying to sign Bellingham as well. You need the options. So I will never say, don't bring this player because he will be obstructing the other player in our team. We need the options. That's what big teams do. They have options. And if Arsenal want to be big again, then we need to have the options, right? We really need to have the options. But anyway, lads, thank you so much for watching in today. Do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel as well. We're going to be talking much about Arsenal. I'm back. Transfers are also back as well. So we will be, we'll be talking on a daily basis. Hit the like button for me. Really massively helps.